Welcome everybody to our presentation called Backpack to Briefcase, Field Experiences that Promote Professionalism. My name is Dr. Kathleen Wagner and I'm an Associate Professor of Educational Studies and Secondary Education. I am also a graduate of ENMU with my bachelor's and my master's, so I'm really pleased to be here with the two stars of the show.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Martinez. I am majoring in mathematics for secondary education, and I am from Gallup, New Mexico.
Okay. Hi, I'm Rebekah Majkrzak. I'm majoring in music education, and I'm from Clovis, New Mexico.
Okay, and so for this, we're just going to take some audience opinion here. So, what is field experiences in the teacher education program to you guys? What do you guys speculate that means?
Teaching.
Teaching. Awesome.
Going into the schools.
Going into the schools.
Talking to teachers.
Talking to teachers.
Interacting with students.
Awesome, yeah. Okay. So, we are going to talk about what we think the purpose is of field experiences as students. So, Mrs. Majkrzak, what do you think the purpose is?
To me, field experience is an opportunity to go into a live classroom setting and to observe a real-life teacher-student interaction, and it's a way to see meaningful student interactions and how we can have those on an individual basis. What do you think it is?
To me, field experiences is where we apply what we are learning in our education classes to the actual teaching experience. We get to see the different theories, the different ways of classroom management, the different ways of teaching, the things that we're learning in our education classes. We see how those are used and employed in the classroom and how the teacher uses those strategies. It's like applying the theory to practice, or in other words, going from backpack to briefcase.
Wonderful. And what's beautiful about what these young ladies have said is they have really internalized the conceptual framework in the College of Education and Technology, which is TREC, where we talk about theory, research, effective practice, and commitment, where that backpack to briefcase happens because they get to apply theory and research to effective practices through their wonderful commitment. During their learning journey in the teacher education programs, they go through many different phases of field experience. They first start, regardless of which program they're in, if it's elementary, special education blended program, secondary education, which these two fine ladies are in, and are also early childhood education. They start with an observation, which is where they go in and there's not as many expectations on them, and then they phase into a practicum experience where they're being more involved in the classroom, as far as teaching lessons, working with students, paperwork, things of that nature. And then, of course, then the culminating experience, the student teaching experience.
So the field experience placement process goes through the teacher education office. So on the student side of things, we have to fill out an application to get placed into the schools, and we also have to do some things like get a background check just for security purposes. And then Mrs. Lemke goes and she places us, she works with the school districts to get all the students who are needing a field experience placed into a classroom. And this goes from the observation level all the way into the student teaching level.
We have many formal field experience sites. On campus, we have the Child Development Center, which a lot of our early childhood teacher candidates are placed in that facility. If you notice, I use the term teacher candidate instead of student. Going from backpack to briefcase, one of the things we use is the terminology to really drive that home. Where they're no longer called students, they're actually a candidate for teaching, so we call them teacher candidate, very important term. When I was going through school, we were called student teachers, and we took that student term away, and they're called teacher candidates. So something I really, really support. Another thing, we work really close with Portales Municipal Schools, and we have what we call professional development schools, professional development sites. where we actually have in the blended special education elementary program, our students actually meet at the school site and they're there taking their classes. We're in the process of formalizing the secondary one as well. So. Do you ladies have anything to share about your formal experiences right now?
So right now I am placed at the junior high school in a math classroom, so it's pretty exciting. I am with some eighth graders, and it's really a great experience for me because I always thought that I would want to teach the upper grades, and so getting to see eighth graders, I kind of love them, so I might end up going into the middle school. So,
Alyssa, would you share that story you shared with me the other day about the student that just really inspired you?
so they were going over a lesson on, it was about graphs and trying to find the y-intercepts, and they were looking at a vertical line, and vertical lines don't have y-intercepts because they're parallel with the x-axis, so the y-axis, so they're never going to cross the y-axis. Anyway, there's a little math lesson done. And these students were having a very passionate argument about whether this line was going to cross the y-axis. And there was this one student who went to the front, and he was like, at the board, he was like, no, it's never going to happen. And he was like, very, and I just seeing the passion that this student had over math, I was just like, oh my god, I was ready to cry. Like it was so empowering. I was like, it just made me feel so ready to teach, and just to have to take those minds and build that excitement within them. So.
I am placed at the Portales High School at the music classrooms. So I've observed choir and band. I've mostly done band. What I really enjoy from that experience is my afternoon sessions where I watch the sectionals happen. So I'll observe student leaders come up and sort of run the sectional. So I'll watch them try and implement strategies that I've learned in the past. And I think to myself, oh, going forward, I can address this with them because there's this area that they might be struggling with it now, but if I have the opportunity to talk with them about it, they can become a better ensemble as a whole. And that's what I'm looking for.
One of the things about our formal placements for field experiences, in the area we have cultural diversity is just really something that we celebrate within our schools. Another thing we have in the Portales school system, because of Cerna versus Portales schools back in 1968, Portales schools are structured very differently than normal schools, city schools, in that we have, instead of K through 6 or K through 5, we actually have schools that we have a first and second grade school, we have a third and fourth grade school, so they get to see a really immersion of a grade level within one building. Another thing that we offer our students is field experiences in rural schools in Roosevelt County and in Curry counties. They can go to schools such as Dora, Texaco, Elida, Floyd, and they have those options as well to see a small school district. Another thing we do, and Mrs. Limke works in the teacher ed office, is the ability to give them multiple levels of placement. So in other words, they are not just seeing just the junior high or just early grades.
So talking about the informal field experiences, this is not the whole going through the teacher education office to get placed into a school. These are the experiences that we get here on this campus just by being students. So some of my personal informal experiences, so I am a president's ambassador, and so I've been a PA for about 3 years, and that experience has really helped me become more professional and to learn how to better speak with other people. And actually, one thing I'm really excited for, so today we have a tour coming in from Roswell. So it's they said about 65 middle schoolers, so I get to give a tour to middle schoolers, and everyone's like, middle schoolers, but I'm like, middle schoolers, yay! Because I want to be a teacher, so I'm pretty excited for that tour. So if you see a whole group of bunch of middle schoolers, I will be leading them. So Those are just the type of experiences that I get to be as a President's Ambassador. Also getting to work with people who are still in high school when they're coming for their tours. So I get to kind of look into the minds of the people that I'm going to be teaching and see how they operate. I don't know. It's a great experience just being a PA. And then I am also we are both supplemental
SLAs.
instructors, and I've been a supplemental instructor for about 3 years, and this past semester I got promoted, I guess, to a lead tutor. So being a lead tutor, I get to work with the other tutors, and then of course I'm still tutoring, being a tutor here. So let me just backtrack a little bit. So I started majoring in elementary education, and now I'm secondary education. And part of the reason that I made that shift was because of my experience as a tutor, getting to work with older students. I realized I liked doing that a lot better than working with younger students. And I've gotten to really learn like the way that people think about math at the college level, so that if there's misconceptions they're having at the college level, I can address those when I'm a high school teacher. So,
Yes, so as she mentioned, I am a supplemental instructor as well. This is my first year, but I've had a wonderful time. Just yesterday I met with a student to discuss an assignment, and it was such a wonderful experience. I love having the opportunity to really walk students through step by step. I'm a big step by step person. A lot of music actually promotes that, learning step by step. So just watching him grow made me feel happy to help, happy to see that. Let's see. I did private lessons I've done, I believe, 2 separate private lessons. So over COVID, I met with a student online at the middle school level, and I offered him private lessons on his instrument. So I would go through his music, and we'd walk through the areas he was having trouble with, and I'd help him fine-tune things. I am also a long-time member of participating in the Student Research and Creativity Conference. Always exciting. I think this will be my 4th year, maybe? 3rd or 4th year. Yeah, I always look forward to it. I just take a couple of months getting ready, researching over the topics that I enjoy, and then I present it in front of instructors, which is a good experience preparing myself for the education field, because I am speaking and teaching those around me.
Wonderful. You know, ladies, we talk about the importance of flexibility, and as my mind recollects our presentation that we're having now, did I rush through and not give opportunity for you two to introduce yourself? I think I went to the next slide, didn't I?
You did.
Okay, good. Nice. See, there you go. I was thinking in my mind, making sure that we had opportunity to that. Okay, we'll edit that part out. Okay, so as you can tell, Eastern provides lots of experiences for our students to go from backpack to briefcase in a number of ways.
actually, sorry, one thing that we left out was that Rebekah and I are both learning facilitators for the freshman seminar classes. So this picture actually is me facilitating the learning of freshmen on campus. So for field experiences, we have some different expectations, and this is especially for the formal field experiences. So we are expected to dress professionally and have professional dispositions, professional interactions and relationships, and participate in classroom activities. And then for documentation, this is for like observation classes. We're documenting what we're learning in there, and then also the application process within the teacher education office. And then we have cooperating teacher evaluations. So even at your observations, the cooperating teacher at the end of the semester will they'll verify your hours, and then they'll also say, was this teacher candidate always professionally dressed? Were they always having professional interactions with the students? Things like that. And these are the cooperating teachers are the teachers in the public schools that we are working with. And so it's important that we keep a good relationship with them because at the end, they are also evaluating us, so.
Yes. And along those lines, it's very important that you monitor what you say on and off of social media. You don't want to go into or online and start bad-mouthing your cooperating teacher or any of the staff at the school. One, because it looks bad on you personally. Two, because it looks bad on the school. It looks bad on Eastern. It's just very unprofessional. And when we go from backpacks to briefcase and we're professionals, and you wouldn't expect to see a teacher online, you know, dissing their principal. It's just a way to get fired.
At the end of their teacher ed program, they enter a semester-long internship, which in our teaching profession we call student teaching. And it is the last semester of their teacher ed program, semester long. Placements accommodation, one of the things we do at Eastern is we allow students to actually go back home for financial reasons. A lot of our students go back home and they live with their parents or their aunt and uncle, grandparents, their families, and they student teach because they are on the job student teaching basically from 7:45 till 4:30 in the evening, and they're not given the opportunity to work. So this is a way that we have helped accommodate our students for this experience. They also follow the public school schedule, whereas Eastern may start a certain day. They've already been in the classroom a couple weeks before that, so they can see what the beginning of the semester is like, and they can do that either in the fall or in the spring. We do have a phase-in process where we use a co-teaching model, and we have our teacher candidates will go in and they will co-teach with the teacher instead of just sitting back and observing and not being involved in the classroom. We also offer an opportunity in methods for them to be placed in the same classroom that they participate within their methods course. So basically they could actually get a year-long field experience if that works out for them. And the co-teaching experience. And we also have, because of the New Mexico teaching shortage, we also have opportunities for residency. And what that is defined is basically our teacher candidates, they are on the job, and they, depending on how the school district sets it up, but they're actually paid for their student teaching because they become a teacher of record. That takes different forms. I know we've had in the past in our SPLED program in Clovis, we actually had two teacher candidates share a position, and they did a co-teaching, and it worked out really well, and they got to learn to collaborate. Right now we have a teacher in the local area who is actually on the job teaching mathematics because they did not have a teacher to fulfill that position. So our teacher candidates are going from backpack to briefcase very effectively, and we're just really proud of what they do.
So field experiences prepare us to work with students and create meaningful learning experiences for all students. And go from backpack to briefcase. So thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.